Hello guys. Welcome to another episode of Asphalt 8 Best Multiplayer Cars. In this episode I'm going to tell you guys about the 2 best multiplayer cars placed in Class D, which guarantees the win almost 90% of the time. In the previous episode I showed you guys the best D-Class multiplayer cars for absolute beginners. Those cars are very useful for players who don't have healthy amount of credits. Those cars are best for low rating races. But in this episode we are going to check out the absolute beasts of the D-Class. They might be pretty expensive, but I assure you that they are worth your investments. And without any further ado, let's move on to the cars. So, the first car we are going to talk about is the Mazda RX-8. It's an elite car. And yeah, it's an expensive one. So, if you're planning on upgrading the car, let me warn you, it is going to cost you way more than what the car actually cost. Anyways, let's get on to the race. Since the race is of 2 laps, I have speed up the video to twice its original speed. As you can see, the acceleration of this car is pretty impressive and its top speed way too good for a D-Class car. The handling of this car is quite comfortable too. I feel confident while I'm driving this car. The normal turning is very good and so is the drift. To give you a tip, Mazda RX-8 is the best car and the king of D-Class. Still, every car has its advantages and drawbacks. The low nitro duration is one of the drawbacks of this car. However, if you are racing on a track with very few nitro boosters, like in this track, Iceland, then this car is a pretty great choice. You can see here that the top speed of this Mazda RX-8 is very high for a D-Class car, even without nitro, and I have not pro'd my car yet. And still it surpasses the 300 km/h speed limit. I have won 80 to 90% of the races I have played with this car. But I have got to tell you guys something. I do not really prefer this car for multiplayer races personally because it is an elite car. You will have to tune up the car over and over again, like after 3 races or so, and wait around 1.5 hours each time you tune the car. But you can win lots of races with this car. As you can see, I won the race by a fairly comfortable margin. So, why not? Now, this car here, the Donkervoort GT8 GTO, is the undisputed champion of the D-Class when it comes to the multiplayer races. This car is a beast, a monster on the multiplayer tracks. With extremely good acceleration, top speed, and nitro duration, this car is unstoppable. The only concern for this car is its handling. When on nitro, the handling is hard. I mean, it is very difficult to turn, and when drifting, it is extremely super sensitive. There is a high chance that you will crash into the side while drifting, if you do not have experience with this car. But handling is not that big of a problem when on lower rank. In the lower rank, that is, below 1300, this is the ultimate multiplayer car. In higher ranks, 1300 plus, the troubling cars are Shelby Cobras and Lamborghini Miuras. This is the best D-Class car I can recommend you for the multiplayer races. With this car, a win is almost guaranteed, unless there is another Donkervoort with a better driver or the above mentioned cars. Or, if you are a shit driver. Haha. No offense to anyone though. Okay guys, that's it for this episode. Another episode will be the best multiplayer cars for Class C. Stay tuned. Happy racing. Cheers.